A runaway encounters different people who offer her help, only to learn that all they want from her is her beauty. While on a drive with her brother, Bonnie tries to exit the vehicle when they stop at a traffic light. Her brother Tom stops her, but she claims she's just closing the door properly. The woman was a runaway and he's now bringing her home, so Tom doubts her. This is why he initially refuses when she insists on buying food. Still, Bonnie insists that she hasn't eaten anything all day, so her brother relents but warns her not to attempt to escape. With that, the woman goes to purchase their meals while the man stays in the car, keeping watch of her. Moments later, another vehicle tries to stop by the place, but Tom's car is blocking them. The other driver, Eddie, blares his horn at the man, catching Tom's attention. This gives the woman a chance to slip out and exit from the kitchen's back door. Her brother notices her running off, so he gives chase, only to nearly collide with Eddie's car. Pissed, the other man chases them as well. Bonnie eventually hides in an alley, though her brother parks nearby. Before he can find her, the man hears Eddie's car approaching, making him run. Bonnie uses the chance to steal his car, but Tom notices and grabs her. He harms her for trying to run from him, but Eddie and his group finally arrive, interrupting him. The woman uses the opportunity and accuses Tom of being her attacker, so the men rough him up. However, Eddie gets enticed by Bonnie's beauty, so she pries herself off his hands and escapes. Finally free, Bonnie strolls along the city streets all night until she reaches the residential area the following morning. There, she sneaks into someone's backyard and drinks water from their garden hose. This alerts a neighbor's dog, who starts barking. The noise frustrates a passerby, Pat, who tries to quiet the dog by striking the fence to scare it. Appalled, Bonnie tells her to stop. Curious, Pat walks with a woman. As her blouse was ripped when she fought off her brother last night, Bonnie asks the woman for a safety pin. To her surprise, Pat opens her bag, revealing a gun inside. The woman explains that it's for self-defense before putting a pin on her blouse to fix it. The two then get to know each other as they head to the beach, sharing a common struggle of not having anywhere else to go. Just then, a dog barks at them from a car. As Bonnie admires the dog, its owner Dan arrives and befriends the ladies. Pat takes this chance to seduce the man to take them out for a ride in his fancy car. Enticed, the man agrees and drives off with the ladies. To his surprise, Pat brandishes her gun and orders him on where to go. With no choice, the man follows her instructions and drives in the middle of nowhere. Then, Pat directs him to a clearing at gunpoint. She then orders Bonnie to search the man for money, but he doesn't have any since he just went out for a jog. Dan complains about his predicament, given that he thought he was just giving some nice ladies a ride. However, Pat knows that he only did that since he thought he could sleep with them. He denies this since he's married. With this, Pat interrogates him about his home and where his wife is. Upon learning where he lives and that no one's home at the moment, she orders her accomplice to tie the man up so they can rob his house. She then gives Bonnie her gun, ordering her to watch the man in case he's lying about the money in his house. With that, Pat drives off in Dan's car. While they're alone, Dan tries to get Bonnie to talk, hoping to get on her good side. However, she refuses to share or comply with his requests of loosening his binds. Meanwhile, Pat arrives at Dan's house only to find a gardener outside. She casually waltzes in to avoid suspicions before searching the house. Despite this, the gardener notices her and starts tending to the hedges near the windows where he can see her. Soon enough, Pat finds Dan's money but sees the gardener peering in, so she removes her shirt, pretending that she's changing clothes before shutting the blinds. At the clearing, another car parks near Dan and Bonnie, blaring loud music. The woman notices that it's a couple looking for privacy, so she lets them be. Suddenly, she starts dancing to their music while Dan enjoys the view. Before things get too far, the other couple drives away. Bonnie smiles since her plan worked, having distracted Dan long enough for him to forget to call for help. This frustrates the man. Making matters worse, Bonnie reveals that Pat's pistol is a water gun. She laughs at how Dan was too scared to realize this, so the man yells at her, calling her cheap and easy. Offended, Bonnie taunts the man, though she softens up when he whimpers from the wounds due to his bindings. This makes her feel guilty, so she admits that this wasn't her idea. Finally seeing her crack, Dan begs her to free him. Unfortunately, Pat returns, declaring that she released Dan's dog near the cliff since it bit her. This angers Bonnie, so her accomplice promises to share the money and jewelry she got to calm her down. She then orders Dan to wait 30 minutes after they leave before he starts trying to escape. However, as soon as they're gone, the man calls for help. To his surprise, Bonnie comes running back, reminding him that he's supposed to wait. Pat had ordered her to check on him. However, Bonnie realizes that the woman escaped alone, so she doesn't have to share the fortune. Pissed, Bonnie asserts on getting something out of the ordeal, so she decides to use her captive to satisfy herself. After that, she leaves him, still bound. The woman runs through the woods with nowhere to go like the night before. Eventually, she returns to the beach and attempts to steal an apple from a fruit stand. She gets caught, but a customer, Geraldine, pities her and pays for the apple. Geraldine then takes her new friend into her apartment and lets her take a bath, even offering her a change of clothes. The generous woman even gives her some snacks, endearing herself to Bonnie instantly. Finally, Geraldine reveals her intention. She wants Bonnie to be the model for her paintings, offering her food and lodging in exchange. This brightens up the woman's day. Because of this, Bonnie lives comfortably with her friend over the next few days. Eventually, however, Bonnie grows tired of modeling for Geraldine, so she has the woman chase her around the lawn. Geraldine captures her and pins her down, giving Bonnie no choice but to work. She poses for the painter at the beach but grows impatient by the minute. After working, Bonnie plays with some men until Geraldine orders her to go home with her. She also scolds her model for befriending the men, noting that it's dangerous. The strain of holding poses for long frustrates Bonnie that evening, so Geraldine massages her. However, the ladies get tempted by each other's touch, leading to a more intimate time between them. Days later, Geraldine's painting of Bonnie is displayed at a gallery, earning admiration from an art collector, Vincent. He offers to buy the painting, and when Geraldine insists that it isn't for sale, the man offers her a large sum, leaving her unable to refuse. Vincent visits Geraldine's home days later, but given the loud music Bonnie's playing on the radio, no one hears him knock. Instead, he lets himself in, catching the ladies close together in the kitchen. Quickly, the painter steps away, scolding the man for walking in unannounced. The collector explains that he wanted to pick up the painting he purchased, though Geraldine reminds him that she was supposed to have it delivered. Still, Vincent asks if she started on a new portrait, and despite Geraldine refusing to show her unfinished works, the man insists. With that, the painter asks her muse to take Vincent to her studio while she changes clothes. Vincent soon admires the new painting of Bonnie. Interested in the muse, he asks the woman out, though Bonnie insists that Geraldine might disapprove. This confirms to Vincent that the two are in a relationship. That night, Geraldine works on the painting, though Bonnie is tired and bored of posing. The artist agrees that they should rest, so Bonnie quickly removes her costume. She then asks Geraldine for some time off tomorrow, but the artist insists on finishing the painting in the morning. Disappointed, Bonnie laments that her companion loves her work more than her. Frustrated, Geraldine suspects that she just wants to flirt with men in town. This makes Bonnie wonder why her partner doesn't like men, but the artist clarifies that she likes them as much as she likes dogs. Not wanting to argue further, Geraldine agrees to take Bonnie into town tomorrow. She then shuts the lights and flirts with her muse. This is interrupted when someone breaks into the house. Hearing this, Geraldine grabs a gun and holds the intruder at gunpoint, forcing him to drop his knife. The man defends that he just wanted to rob them since he hadn't eaten in 2 days. He begs for mercy and Bonnie buys into this, telling her partner that the man doesn't look like a hardened criminal. The man introduces himself as Ron and offers to work for Geraldine for food. Bonnie vouches for him, given that they need someone to help around the house. The artist asserts that they don't need a man, so she orders Bonnie to keep watch of the intruder while she calls the police. Before she can, however, Bonnie yells, claiming that the man managed to run downstairs. Geraldine quickly heads down to chase him, but in truth, Bonnie hid Ron in the closet. She then directs him to hide in her bedroom while Geraldine's away. When the artist returns, she thinks that the intruder merely escaped. Bonnie uses this excuse to tell Geraldine that she'll lock herself in her room to be safe. Geraldine agrees, thinking that Bonnie got scared by what happened. With that, Bonnie goes to her room, locks the door, and tells Ron that Geraldine's gone. She then gives him food and offers to let him stay until Geraldine goes to sleep so he can sneak out. However, Ron is still scared of Geraldine. To keep his mind off things, Bonnie starts seducing the man, and they make love. In the morning, Bonnie sneaks some fruits into her bedroom to feed her new lover. She confirms that Geraldine is still asleep, so Ron insists on leaving. Wanting to be with him more, Bonnie plans to meet with him after he escapes. However, Geraldine arrives, catching the two in each other's arms. Instead of punishing them, she merely orders Bonnie to prepare so they can finish the painting before storming off. When alone with Bonnie at the studio, Geraldine immediately berates her muse for breaking her heart. Bonnie explains that she wants to be with a man, but this only angers the woman further. She orders Bonnie to get rid of Ron so they can forget that this happened. However, the woman insists on keeping her new lover, so she threatens to leave with Ron. With that, Bonnie heads to her room to get dressed. The angry artist then calls Ron to return his knife. As he turns away, however, Geraldine shoots him. Hearing this, Bonnie rushes back and sees her new lover dead. As the woman mourns, Geraldine calls the police, claiming that a burglar threatened her, so she shot him in self-defense. When she checks, however, Bonnie has run away. Homeless again, the woman wanders around and ends up at Vincent's gallery the next day. She goes to him for help, so Vincent offers to let her stay in his house while she hides from Geraldine. The man even buys her clothes and a bangle engraved with the words Vincent's pet. They then enjoy a fancy dinner before he finally takes her home that evening. There, Bonnie grows fond of his cat, so he offers to show her his other pets as well. However, when he takes her to his basement, Bonnie is shocked at what she sees. Days later, Geraldine goes to Vincent's gallery as he's insisted on seeing her new piece. However, the woman remains in a sour mood, so the man offers his sympathy for what happened in her house. He then suggests showing her his gallery where many of her prized works are displayed. The frustrated painter refuses, but Vincent insists, promising her a surprise. With that, the collector picks up Geraldine from her home late that afternoon. While waiting for her, however, Vincent leaves a letter in her mailbox. The man takes the artist to his home, where he introduces her to his pets, highlighting how they're all female. Vincent notes how both he and Geraldine are quite possessive, but the artist thinks he's seducing her, so she reminds him that she's not interested in men. Vincent laughs, clarifying that he doesn't seduce women, but instead, he keeps them as pets. Alarmed, Geraldine goes to leave, but the man convinces her to try and understand what he means. He admits that he's fantasized about building a zoo, but he'll showcase women instead of animals. Geraldine is appalled by this, but the man argues that it's ideal since his ladies will be cared for and have nothing to worry about. Again, the artist insists on leaving, clearly bothered by his ideas. However, when Vincent mentions that he has Bonnie, she stops. Taking her to his room, Vincent shows her the portrait she made of Bonnie. He recounts how her muse came to him for help after she ran away. Now, he's tamed her. It was also Bonnie's idea to invite Geraldine, so he goes to fetch the woman. However, as soon as he leaves, Geraldine realizes that the man has locked her in his room. She tries to escape but finds that even the windows are barred. Just then, the man returns with Bonnie, reuniting the two. The ladies reconnect, though Vincent soon takes Bonnie away. Once alone, Geraldine exits the room and tries to escape. Vincent, however, finds her and declares that he intends to possess her. He claims that women have treated men like animals by pretending to be superior to them and even taking their jobs. He recounts how his mother took over his father's business, and though she made money, she ruined his life. Then, an art director he worked for died, and his wife took over his job instead of Vincent. He believes that the woman's only qualification was her services in bed, and didn't understand the meaning of their work. Throughout his life, more women have risen above him and belittled him, so Vincent believes they must be put back in their place. With that, he takes Geraldine to the basement where he keeps his pets, including Bonnie. The artist is horrified to see her muse in a cage, so she demands Bonnie's freedom. However, her anger only excites Vincent further. He recounts how Bonnie used to shout like her, but he managed to tame her into submission. Vincent believes that his new pet is happier now, given that she doesn't have to fight or tire herself with work just to survive. Still, Geraldine begs him to free Bonnie, so Vincent leaves to fetch the key to her cage. With him away, the painter asks the captive what the man did to her. Bonnie admits that he hurt her, but only when she disobeyed. This all started when he lured her into his home, promising to keep her safe but caged her instead. Geraldine believes someone will look for them if he doesn't free them, but Bonnie reveals that the man has forged a letter to make it look like the artist left willingly. Refusing to be trapped, Geraldine finds the man's whip and ambushes him when he returns. However, he manages to steal it back from her. He then opens Bonnie's cage and threatens Geraldine to get in. However, as he drags the woman inside, Bonnie pushes them both in and locks the cage behind her. She then releases Vincent's other pets, collects a few expensive items from the two, then waltzes out of the house. The beautiful woman drives off in Vincent's car, having exacted her revenge on the two people who thought they could use her for their pleasure only to be outsmarted by the pet they underestimated.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.